Entering the Mayo experience.
Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat. Oh, squeaky voice right off the top. It's Sunday morning, people. We're live. Rankings updates. We got some injuries for you, some shifting lines to talk about. I do want to let everyone know before we get too far into this, smash the like button as we'll go through this. I'll throw that out there a couple times so we can keep the show live every Sunday morning. No Cuss this week. He'll return for Wednesday's pick show and the remaining Sundays. So that's either good or bad depending on what you think of Cuss. A lot of people like Cuss. Some people, not so much, like the people that unfollowed him on Twitter this week to get into the draw for $20 DK. And next week there'll be another contest where you probably have to follow him back, unfortunately. But this is the time to follow Cuss because, maybe he'll have an updated Halloween candy list to trigger everyone out there. There's a lot of injuries for us to get to, but I do want to let people know I'll be back live again Monday morning, myself, Chris Meany, recapping the games, talking injuries, and waiver wire pickups, 10 a.m. on the DraftKings YouTube channel, and we'll be taking your trade questions, your value questions, and waiver wire questions all throughout the show. Plus, later on today, around 2 p.m. Eastern Time, on the podcast feed, up on iTunes and all the places you can download podcasts, and on the YouTube feed, myself, Drew Dinkmeyer, and Mike Leone. Not a big contribution from me, but a season preview for DK Basketball Strategy. NBA is starting up, and the guys from Daily Roto were good enough to come in and hook us up and tell us how to win this year, at least the best ways in order to win. And I do want to let everyone know that the odds and lines we talk about are subject to change. So see the website for actual odds. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Gus is not here, but Garion Thorne is.
Hello.
Can't get rid of you.
No.
You're like the plague.
Yeah. I'm sad.
You're sad?
I think Brock Osweiler is going to start for my football team today.
So let's start there. So Ryan Tannehill suffered an AC joint injury on Friday?
No.
Because this wasn't really on my radar.
He apparently suffered the AC joint injury against the Bengals. And that's why he played so poorly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
Now this came up late. He was limited on Friday. We had a couple of reports or outlets out of Miami reporting that he might have this AC joint sprain. Seems like they're going to test if he can throw a football. Which probably a good way to go with your starting quarterback. The funny thing, really, with this particular game is I don't think this impacted your lineup over all that much aside from just maybe having to force feed Bears defense in there.
And we were just talking about that before we came on because I had no Bears D. I like Bears D, but I only played 10 lineups, and I know that they're going to be the overwhelming chalk defense of the week to begin with. I had to go rework lineups. Like, I had to get Bears D in there. If they're going to play Brock Lobster,
Yeah.
The thing is, they still don't run very many plays. So you could get around it that way, too, that if they're not running a ton of plays, maybe they'll run more because there's no more big plays on the table because Brock Osweiler is starting.
It's possible. Again, it's not just Miami, though. I mean, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. It seems with all Colts games, you can kind of figure out a way to somehow
get
in all the Colts games. 160 plays on both sides of the ball. The Bears and the Dolphins simultaneously run two of the three slowest offenses in football. So this seemed like a contest in general where I was avoiding pretty much everyone.
You start Allen Robinson if you have him. Jordan Howard's a guy you're going to have to start.
Yeah, in season long, you're going to have to start Howard. You're going to have to start Allen Robinson.
That's
you
it.
have to start Trey Burton.
Okay, those are the three guys. Like
You
must
might
starts.
even there might be a situation where you have to play like Tariq Cohen. But
maybe
in a PPR possibly, but from a DFS perspective, did you have a single member of this game in any of your lineups? Because I didn't until I put Bears D in.
I started considering that when I started using, because I had a lot of Mixon, or I have a lot of Mixon, I have a lot of Todd Gurley, so that kind of limits what I can do. And then paying up for Bears defense when you have Todd Gurley is real tough.
Yeah,
because it turns out he gets to play with skates today because it's going to be real cold in Denver, but. I started considering, do I go down from Mixon to Howard and pair him up with the Bears defense? And I decided, nah. I
think it's too risky.
I still don't know.
I mean, there's a chance that this is the game where Jordan Howard finishes with some sort of ridiculous line, like 20 carries, 66 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like this is a very Jordan Howard game. But again, I don't necessarily trust that he's going to get even 50% of the snaps. And we're talking about a game that could likely see both teams run less than 55 plays. Now we're talking about Jordan Howard only getting on the field for like 25 snaps, which people freak out when they hear Dalvin Cook limited to 20 to 25 snaps, but the Bears are basically showing you that Jordan Howard's only going to get 25 to 30. So it's really not that different.
So the Dalvin Cook situation, I had initially bumped him back up because it looked like he got into full practice, and then it turned out it was a limited practice on Friday, but he's going to play. I have number 15 in the rankings. It is one spot ahead of Jordan Howard, but there's no Chris Thompson for the Redskins. AP is still dealing with a shoulder injury. So in the rankings, I have Tevin Coleman at number 14 because there's no Freeman, Dalvin Cook, Jordan Howard, then Adrian Peterson. Should I have Peterson above those guys? Because I think that Capri Bibbs is going to play a whole lot more than people think.
I don't trust Peterson this week. I think it was not a bad script necessarily, but yeah, I mean, apparently he's dealing with 3 separate injuries. Didn't look great coming off the bye last week. I would say that Bibbs is, as strange as this sounds, the safer of the 2 plays. I mean,
I don't know if he's safer because we don't know what his workload is, but he's 3K on DraftKings.
I guess more of a DraftKings perspective. Yes.
I mean, with the Redskins in general, there's no Chris Thompson, there's no Jamison Crowder. Paul Richardson and Josh Doxson are still kind of iffy.
Questionable, yeah.
So they at 11:30, and if you tune into the Sweat coming up right after us, they'll have the actual inactives. We'll be off the air just before those come in. We'll see news trickle through as the show goes along. But I fired up some Capri Bibbs as a comeback in some Cam Newton lineups because I like Cam Newton, and Maurice Harris at $3,000 too, who has just as many air yards as Josh Doxson does on the season, and Maurice Harris has only played 1 game.
Hey.
He's 3,000, in a week where it's so hard to jam people in, taking a shot like Ito Smith at $3,100, Ronald Jones at $3,800, Maurice Harris and Capri Bibbs are
Well, that's an interesting debate. I would say the Ito Harris versus Ronald Jones debate, because we know what Ito Harris's role is going to be in this game. It seems like he's going to get somewhere between 10 to 13 touches, and he might just be the goal line back.
Yeah, so that's why I didn't play any Tevin Coleman.
Where there's this weird upside of Ronald Jones. How excited do you think people are to play Ronald Jones?
They're not.
Okay.
Because I even discussed this on the Friday show with Leone. What do you think his ownership comes in at? The Millionaire Maker. It's 5%.
Yeah.
He's a great way to save money, but Eckler's down there, and Eckler's just a far more viable option.
Sure, yeah.
But I don't know if he comes with the same upside. I think Eckler's scoring 18 DraftKings points per week, which is amazing, considering he's $4,200.
But your upside is inherently capped when you play 35% of the snaps.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So with Ronald Jones, that could be a 0.
Could be.
Let's not discount that possibility. But
of course,
against this Falcons defense, even if he plays first and second down and Peyton Barber sees the bench, I feel like that's worth the shot at $3,800.
I would think so. I mean, again, you look at, the way they utilized him in week 4, where sure he didn't play a large percentage of the snaps, but it seemed like he was getting a carry or a touch on a high percentage of the snaps he did play. There is the old school narrative of coming out of a bye week, you have your rookie running back. Ideally, this is what they've been setting themselves up for all season. We also know that while the Bucs running backs have not scored a ton of fantasy points this season, I brought this up on the Tuesday show, they did use their running backs, Peyton Barber specifically, in the first 2 weeks of the season before they just had some insane game scripts. I mean, he was getting, I believe it was exactly 37 carries in those 2 games. This is not an offense that's completely devoid of giving their running back the ball. So I do think he's going to be involved. I think he could also, I know Jake protests that he cannot catch a single pass, but it's not like anyone on this roster, aside from Quiz, has ever sort of inhabited that role, and even Quiz hasn't done it at all so far this season.
And we saw at points last year, it could have been the way that their offense has been structured through the first few weeks, and then they're coming off the bye, that Ryan Fitzpatrick doesn't like to check down. He just likes to take shots.
That's true.
Jameis far more likely to check down. We even saw it when Peyton Barber was starting at the end of last year, that it was check down city. He'd be averaging 3-4 catches a game. If Ronald Jones can get himself to 4 catches and be the starter,
perfect.
He's going to pay off $3,800.
And I think we've seen too with Jameis, the coaching staff. It's a weird situation because it's almost like he's riding in on the white horse because he's replacing Fitzpatrick, but this is someone who's had the reins taken from him in the past. I mean, there were games in 2016 where they essentially said, we don't care what the score is, we don't care what the script is, we're going to run the football for a majority of our drives.
Are you excited for New York Giants starting quarterback, potentially by week 7, Jameis Winston?
That would actually be a lot of fun. But Jameis, I'll say it's weird. Now that we have Bears defense just being this obvious chalk cash play at defense, and I would even say Texans presents a really nice pivot at 3-5.
But it's such a hard week to squeeze. We're talking about guys at 3,000. We're talking about guys below 4,000 that paying up for a defense.
It's hard.
I would just I have the Cardinals D in most of my lineups.
I was going to say, do you have? Am I crazy in at all thinking about Falcons defense?
Siege brought this up on Twitter last night.
I kind of like it.
They're bad.
Tampa Bay, but I feel like this is a game where it's going to be so crazy and pass heavy, and points are going to be like everywhere.
6-3.
I think the last 5 games these teams have played in Atlanta, they've on average scored 55.2 points. These games tend to actually hit the over. I just see the Bucs getting in situations where in the second half they're going to have to throw the football. Atlanta's going to know they're throwing the football. They're going to pin their ears back. They're going to have pressure. And Jameis is going to do something stupid because he always does something stupid. This is a team that already has turned the ball over the second most of any team on a per drive basis. 1 of every 5 Buccaneer drives ends in a turnover.
I think there are better options. Like at $2,100,
Sure.
I'd rather play the Cardinals. I'd rather play the Bills.
Yeah. And I guess that's the case. I'd rather play the Cardinals too.
But in just playing against Deshaun Watson, he's going to score points. That's fine. But he's going to get sacked 6 times.
Yeah, that's true.
And the Bills can generate pressure.
What's the over/under sack total in that game?
I can look that up. Well,
7.5.
I guess, yeah, with Josh Allen on the other side. Let's see, total sacks. I can go look that up here while we talk. The other guys at running back, Isaiah Crowell looks like he's going to play. That's not for sure yet. I still like Powell better in that shot, but
Yeah.
it's hard to go to Powell as like a standalone because it's going to be a split. I would say he's like 65%.
That's
and like you mentioned,
kinda how it's been tracking.
A lot of plays in that game.
Sure.
So you think the pass catching back would be on the field more often. And the other one, Sony Michel, looks like he's going to play. So don't worry about Kenyon Barner.
Yeah.
They're both top 15 plays. James White's probably a top 10 play. The only other one at running back that we don't know about.
Oh, Crowell is active.
Crowell is active?
Yep.
Okay, so there you go. So the rankings don't change. I have Crowell number 25, Powell number 24.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah, I mean, really, the only thing that was changing here was Powell might have inherited the goal line carries, which would have been big.
Well, if there was no Crowell, like
Oh, sure,
I
yeah.
probably would have bumped Powell up to like number 12 in the rankings.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But Matt Breida, who's a true game time decision Monday night, what do you do if you have him? Like, what if you were relying on Alfred Morris? You went to go pick up Alfred Morris.
Yeah.
Or if you picked up Juszczyk in PPR.
I
avoid-
really get the sense that Breida's not going to play in this game.
Me too, but
I understand why you'd have to take that risk, but I mean, if you're in a situation where you're having to start Alfred Morris anyway, that tells me that you probably don't have many better options on your bench. Like, I don't know what your alternative would be to Alfred Morris, and I think that the likelihood
what
of
if you
Breida
could
playing.
what if you could go pick up Ito Smith right now and play him instead of Alfred Morris, not knowing about the Breida situation? Do you make that move?
I think I might. I think the upside for Ito is higher anyway.
Just play the guy who's going to play?
Yeah.
All right, let's take some questions here. We're going to do a full question and answer period around 11 o'clock, maybe a little bit earlier because there's no cuss to weigh us down. Probably the most informational Sunday show
Likely.
that we're going to have. Probably the least amount of fun.
How many dings do you think he's hitting right now?
Oh, my God, at a softball tournament? Who knows?
So many dings.
First question comes from Mark. Full point PPR. Need one. Geronimo, Kiki, Corey Davis, and Godwin. I guess we should talk about the Packers guys, too, because Allison and Cobb are still real iffy. It looks like they're both not going to play. They practice on a limited basis on Saturday, but that doesn't really tell us anything.
Yeah.
They did that last week, too. I'd say Allison has a better shot of playing.
It seemed like he was trending a little bit better,
But
yeah.
with all of these guys sort of being kind of like equal all around the same range, I wouldn't hold out for the guy who may or may not play. So let's cross Geronimo off the list.
Yep.
So Kiki, Davis, or Godwin. It's probably Davis.
Yeah, I can understand why you're having trouble because it's a terrible matchup.
And Kiki and Godwin both have really good matchups.
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking about the clear number one option on a team. And we said this in the past when it comes to Davis having bad matchups. It doesn't seem like Marcus Mariota has that filter that realizes that something's a bad matchup. Like, I think he'll just continue to force feed him the ball. I mean, Jimmy Smith is a fantastic corner. I believe the Ravens have held every receiver they've faced under 70 yards so far this season. Like, they've been exceedingly good. But
I could just see playing Godwin. If you want to get exposure to that, like I'm playing a ton of Godwin on DraftKings.
sure.
And he's got a touchdown in every game, I think. Except for the last one, when Jameis came back.
And that's the thing. My worry is just that he was so hyper-utilized in the red zone with Fitzpatrick, and small sample, one game, but it just didn't kind of carry over.
Sure. O.J. Howard's back, too. So that kills Cameron
Yeah,
Brate
that's
Chalk Week.
unfortunate.
Now it's Austin Hooper Chalk Week.
Or C.J. Uzama.
I'm playing 0 Austin Hooper.
I think I have one Hooper lineup. I just had a full-out Falcon stack.
I just feel like you make your choice on that one. Do you want to bite the bullet on Austin Hooper, who could legit score 0 points?
Oh, of course.
It's not a great situation to play any of these, like, underwhelming. Like, last week was a good... When everyone played Vance, switching on to Austin Hooper last week made a lot of sense because
Yeah.
no one was using him. Like, this week, I'd almost switch back onto Vance McDonald.
It's tough
because no one's using him
it
now.
seemed like every bit of possible variance and value we had at tight end was taken away. I mean, it seemed like on Thursday we could have an Eric Swoop chalk week, but now it seems like Ebron's going to play. Going back to Vance might not be crazy.
I'm using Vance.
I mean, I've come back from earlier in the week where I'm now, like you, a little anti-Ben Roethlisberger. But
Can you still play Brate? I still have him over Howard. I have him at number 12 in the rankings.
I think he's still a perfectly fine play. I still think he'll get at least a red zone target in a game that's going to feature a lot of red zone drives.
And Atlanta struggles against tight ends.
Yeah.
We've seen that in the past. They just struggle against people in the slot.
Yeah.
So
I think he's still viable.
more than Howard?
I mean, again, it's tight end. More than Howard.
I just don't know how healthy Howard
Yeah,
is.
I guess that is the point. You know Brate's healthy.
And Jameis does like throwing to Brate, and Fitzpatrick did not.
This is true.
At least historically.
Well,
that could change.
I mean, also, Brate was only on the field for like 25% of the snaps that Fitzpatrick played. I think they're both viable. If I had to play one, it would be Brate just because I know his health.
All right, Alfred Morris or Crabtree? I'd just play Crabtree.
Yeah, just play Crabtree.
Crabtree's going to have like a really smash week here soon. Because he's getting all the, like, I'm playing more John. I'm only in DraftKings-wise, I'm playing a ton of John Brown.
Yeah.
No Michael Crabtree. That sets up perfectly for like a 3-touchdown Michael Crabtree game.
I mean, possible, but again, why wouldn't you play John Brown at this point?
That's true. Let's see. Full point PPR, Quincy Enunwa or Corey Davis? Corey Davis for me.
Yeah, Corey Davis.
Hyde, Lynch, or should I take a chance on Ronald Jones? I think like those are two good running backs.
Yeah.
Who do I like more? I probably like Hyde just slightly more.
Yeah.
But I think I have them back-to-back in the rankings.
Well,
Let's
it's
see.
interesting.
Actually, no, I like Lynch slightly. I have Lynch at 12. I have Hyde at 13. That's a true coin flip.
I would just say, for as good as Marshawn has looked, and he has looked very good this season, it still feels like the Browns are the more willing team to just force feed their running back. There are still games where Marshawn leaves with only 13, 14 touches, and Oakland is not a team that doesn't run a ton of plays, so it's surprising. I would say Hyde just because I know the volume's locked in.
Is 35 fantasy points in the range of outcomes for Derek Carr today? I would think so. Against Seattle in that pass defense? The run defense better than the pass defense. If they get behind, then they're chucking.
It's on the table.
Yeah, it's not the likeliest of outcomes.
I would say it's one of the least likely outcomes. I thought Carr was in a great spot last week, and that offense just disappointed entirely.
Sanu, Lindsey, or Allen Robinson in the flex? Probably play Allen Robinson still.
I might lean Phillip Lindsay, but
I think you're dealing with a third man on the totem pole in Atlanta with Sanu.
yeah, it's for me. It's between Lindsay and Robinson.
And with Lindsey, it's still a split between him and Booker and Freeman. Like, that's a three-way split.
It seemed like he started. I understand that.
But it seemed like he could take and seize control of this, but that could flip back at
It
any
could.
moment.
It just seems like he's been the best back they've had consistently all season long, and this is probably a script that leans more towards his talents than it would Royce Freeman's talents.
Should I swap all my Tevin Coleman on DK shares to beast mode because it's revenge beast mode day? I actually don't hate that.
It's fine.
I'm not super jazzed on Coleman as like a really big upside play because I worry about the Ito Smith stealing his touchdowns.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Tampa's just allowed so many points to skill position players, though.
And frankly, like, this is a week where the chalk is concentrating so much on DraftKings because there's only so many like reasonable plays that it's probably just a contrarian week. Just play guys who are good off the beaten radar that no one's using.
That's fair.
And you might just end up winning everything.
Like, look, in a GPP, if you want to play...
We don't talk about cash games on this show. Cash games are for losers.
Yeah.
You're not trying to win $1 million? Give me a break.
Yeah. What are we here for?
Yeah.
You want to win $10 today? Good for you.
Yeah.
I would say in a season-long league, I'm definitely playing Coleman over Lynch.
Yeah. No, I would play Lynch over Coleman.
I would play Coleman over Lynch. But in a GPP, if you want to switch that up because the ownership is probably going to be concentrated on particularly one of those sides, it's fine.
Pick 2, full point PPR, John Brown, Aaron Jones, or Doug Baldwin. I play the 2 receivers.
Yeah, 2 receivers.
Amigos. That's us.
Ah.
Trey Burton or CJ Uzomah. I'd play Burton.
Burton, yeah.
Tyler Kroft is out for the Bengals.
Look, I like Uzomah a lot, but when you have Trey Burton, who is just going to be consistently a top 10 tight end option every single week.
It's touchdown or bust for all these guys.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, there's a chance that Uzomah catches a touchdown, but he asked me who has more volume. I would say
Trey Burton. Yeah.
So,
who do you like better between Jarvis Landry, Deshaun Jackson, Tyler Boyd, or Emmanuel Sanders in a GPP? Probably Landry.
Yeah.
He's just the best of those guys.
Yeah.
All things being equal, just take him.
Sure. I mean, there's a chance that there's a funnel effect to Boyd this week, but even still,
I like
take
Boyd.
Jarvis Landry.
Oh, this guy says Derek Carr top QB play today. Watch. I will be watching the game, so I will see it if it happens. But
Yeah, but I'll be honest, I don't know how much of that game I'm gonna watch.
it's a London game,
Oh, fancy.
so they'll have like the guys in the hats come out. It'll be nice.
Everyone will be wearing all the different jerseys. That's fun.
Oh, this guy must be new to the show. David, Watkins or Jared Cook? The answer is always never Jared Cook. Would you play him over?
I don't like Jared Cook this week, actually.
Okay. Fuller, Ridley, PPR. I have Julio. I would play Will Fuller over Calvin Ridley. Would I? I'd probably play Ridley because I'm not 100% sold that Will Fuller is not going to be a decoy again. I'd say that there's like a 15% chance of that happening this week.
That's fair. Do you need to decoy against the Bills? Actually, their pass defense has been pretty good the last couple of weeks. I would say Fuller, but
It's close.
they're both wide receiver twos.
I'll say Ridley just because he seems to have touchdown, actually.
Sure, yeah.
Any concern with the weather in London? I was high on the Seattle stack, but not so much now. No, it's not super windy. And even in the Denver game with the weather, it's not super windy.
Yeah.
So if it's a bit like cold or if it's a bit like slippery out, because could be I don't know what it is in Fahrenheit. I think it's like 26 Fahrenheit. It's like -4 Celsius.
Right. Yeah.
So it's below freezing. So the ground might not be the most stable. Hopefully, this is always a thing that happens too. You see it like once or twice a year. Like remember when the Colts last year went to Buffalo in that super snow game?
Yeah.
It's not going to be anything like that. But they didn't have like snow cleats.
Yeah.
They're like, why would we need snow cleats? Maybe the Rams forgot snow cleats. I feel like Sean McVay would be on top of that.
Seems like he'd remember that. Yeah.
But some teams just don't because they're idiots.
I mean, it's fair.
But in all circumstances like this, I always think it benefits the offense. It always does.
Yeah.
If you know where you're going, you can get to where you're going.
In terms of traction.
If you have to react to people who are going this way and then cutting back this way, you might fall over.
Yeah.
So, Tyler Boyd or Josh Gordon? That's Tyler Boyd.
Yeah. Tyler Boyd.
Todd Gurley, McCaffrey, Hunt, or Trump? Pick two. I don't know if that's like a joke or if that's like a typo.
I can't think of who that would be typoing off of.
Gurley and McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Let's see. STD Howard, Jordan Howard, or Sony Michel? Is STD someone I'm not thinking of?
Standard.
Oh, standard. I thought it was like some sort of player abbreviation.
It's a venereal disease.
Yeah, well, I mean, it could be like Vince Young. You call him the STD.
The STD.
Jordan Howard or Sony Michel? I'd go Sony Michel.
Yeah. Sony Michel.
Doug Baldwin or Allen Robinson in season long?
I like Baldwin.
I think I'd go Baldwin as well. Last one before we get to some line movement here we can talk about. 14-team half-point PPR league was offered this trade. Oh, great. It's a trade question on a Sunday morning. Thanks. No, pass. Line movement. You talked about, I should have looked at that. Let's see, score props. The game with, have we had any word on Tannehill versus Osweiler yet? The line has moved from -2, which the Dolphins opened at, but it was +3. It was like -3 Chicago most of the week.
Yeah.
It's now -6.
Yeah.
It still feels super trappy. Like you mentioned, this is a low-pace game. Those tend to be super close. They tend to be unders.
It's true.
And if that's the case, you're getting a 6-point home dog.
Yeah.
The Bears are the better team, but they've been much better at home than on the road. They will be wearing their orange, not their black in Miami.
I saw that.
So, great way to beat the heat, not wearing all black. But, I don't know. I still kind of like Miami to cover the 6. It just seems like
it's a big total for Chicago.
It turns into one of these things is and this is always the best way to judge some of these lines. If you ask anyone this morning, who do you think is going to win, Miami or Chicago? I bet you 99% of people would say Chicago.
Sure.
In that case, you generally just take the points and go the other way. It's a
fair.
pure fade the public situation.
It's fair.
I have no other real analysis
I do
beyond
feel
that.
like we tend to, it's a lot like picking value plays where people tend to remember when fading the public definitely worked. They don't tend to remember when it didn't.
Well, I think home dogs are 15-6 against the spread this year.
That's fair. Yeah, look, it's a big line for the Bears. If there's any aspect of this Dolphins team that's been above average, it's been their defense. I just have so little faith. Even in this offense, I guess the argument would be...
Ooh, that's a bet.
What's that?
Total sacks in that Bills-Houston game, over under 5.5.
Oh, that is an over.
It's juiced to -150, but I'm in on that. I can play that.
I guess the argument would be, in your case, though, The Dolphins' offense was already one of the worst in football.
How much worse
How
could
much
it get?
worse could it actually be?
Like,
So,
I could see this being like, it depends on what they can do on first and second down, obviously, but if they can just run a little bit, that'll make their play pace even slower, suck the air out of the ball.
well, again, the only two teams who are averaging fewer yards per drive than the Dolphins are the Cardinals and the Bills. It's not exactly the company you want to keep. So, yeah, how much worse could it really get?
Other just weird shifts in some of the lines we've seen. The Chargers have went from a 1-point road favorite to a 1.5-point dog. Cleveland's now favored in that game.
I think Cleveland's super public this year.
People just want them to be so good.
It's this weird combination of goodwill, hard knocks. There's just a lot
Baker
of like
Mayfield.
positive momentum. It's almost like when the Red Sox were down 3-0 to the Yankees in 2004.
Then everyone
Became a Red Sox fan for a little bit, and now we all regret it. But yeah, there's just certain things that get you caught up, and it seems like people want the Browns to do well.
The other big line trends this morning have been towards the under in a lot of these games. So it opened the week. I think there were 3 games that were over a 50-point over/under, and not talking about the Chiefs-Patriots game, because
Right.
that's still 58.5. But Bucks-Falcons, 57.5 is the game total. The next closest one now, Rams-Broncos, 50.5.
So that Pittsburgh-Cincinnati game has dropped considerably.
It's huge. It's down to 50.
Well, again, that's
a 3.5-point drop.
That's also a very public narrative, the Ben Roethlisberger.
It's going to be, but it's also this is going to be a smash mouth football game.
There's probably that, but I think that with 5 years of sample, enough people have caught on to the. It's not even just the Roethlisberger road thing; it's the Roethlisberger 1 p.m. road start thing. He's just been terrible in those games. I think 3 of the 22 times he's played a game under those situations the last 5 years, he's been a top 10 QB in fantasy like 3 times. So I think when enough of that narrative picks up, people just saw a high number and assumed let's bet the under. And generally speaking, in those situations, Pittsburgh does not hit their own implied team total, which would lead you to believe this game's going to go under.
But the line has moved towards the Steelers, though.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, so the Bengals opened as 3-point favorites. It dropped to 2.5 immediately. It's now 1.5. So
I mean, the Steelers are also a very public team.
Sure, but I feel like people are kind of off the Steelers a little bit.
Maybe. I think also the Bengals didn't do much to inspire goodwill last week.
Yeah, especially with me when I had the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Then they scored 24 points in the fourth quarter. 2 defensive touchdowns.
Oh,
Fun.
I'm aware.
That's fun.
I'm
Got to
aware.
enjoy that when you're holding a big. Oh yeah, they're up by 20, and I have 6.5. This is great. It wasn't great.
Wasn't great.
Bad times.
Had a lot of Bengals D though. Good for me.
Let's see. Other moves. No shift in that Cardinals-Vikings game. I still like the 10 with the Cardinals. I just think that's a closer game. One of those non-competitive close games.
I will
Because
say-
the Cardinals can never do
Yeah,
anything.
that was one of those things where sometimes you see on DK, you'll see a value or a price point that you go, that's probably not correct. I don't necessarily want to exploit it. I know you do have a lot of Cardinals D. I'm not going that far, but I would say that when I saw that price point, I knew that was off. And how could you use that to your advantage? I would say just taking the Cardinals with 10 points is a good way to go.
It is, and like the total on that's 44. Like unless you think the Minnesota wins like 24-3, which is plausible.
Well, here, I'll say this about Josh Rosen. At the very least, I mean, we all have this preset narrative about when a rookie quarterback comes in, oh, they're going to utilize their tight end, they're going to use their running back as a safety blanket, blah, 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 blah. His ADOT through 2 games, not that his predecessor was a high bar to clear, but his ADOT is 3.5 yards more than Sam Bradford's was. He's up around 10 yards average depth of target. Like, he'll try to sling the ball. Like, the Cardinals could have a couple long touchdowns. They had one last week. I don't know if they can do sustained drives, but they have big play potential.
And we've seen the Vikings give up big plays.
Yeah.
And if Dalvin Cook is actually on a pitch count, that means they're going to throw more because they seem to have no.
Well, I don't know if they can throw more.
Well, they'll continue to throw at the same pace that they've been throwing at instead of reverting back to a close to 50-50 split between the pass and the run. They're going to stick around like 65-70%.
That's going to get the play count up, yep.
And that's going to get the play count up, and it just gives the Cardinals D more opportunity just to feast on Kirk Cousins.
Sure.
Not to say that Kirk Cousins is not going to score points. He's definitely going to score points. But that offensive line is bad. The Cardinals' pass rush is top 10 in football. In fact, it might be top 5 after last week. I didn't check it later in the week.
They were good at getting pressures the first couple of weeks. They haven't got a ton of sacks until last week. But no, they're good.
Well, I mean, they were already inside the top 10 in
Sure.
adjusted sack rate anyway before getting a whole bunch of sacks.
Yeah, I can look
last
that for
week.
you.
But still, like that's just an opportunity that if they're not going to turn around and run the ball every time, and they're still going to continue to drop back. And if you have Patrick Peterson on Stefan Diggs, that just means a lot of funnel targets towards Adam Thielen, towards Kyle
Still
Rudolph.
ninth.
They're still 9th?
Yep.
Yeah. And
Still, though.
And we know that the offensive line is not great
No.
for Minnesota. And Kirk Cousins, prone to bad mistakes. Makes great plays, bad mistakes too. It's on the table. Let's get some more questions. Smash the like button while you're out there. I'm going to try to bring that up before every question and answer period because that's why we're here, to answer the people's questions. Goff or Ryan as a QB? Think I'd go with Matt
Yeah,
Ryan.
I think Matt Ryan's the play.
Alex Collins or John Lewis in PPR? Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis.
Flex spot. Adrian Peterson, Doug Baldwin, Kiki QT, or Dion Lewis?
I would say Doug Baldwin.
Probably play AP just for the touchdowns.
I guess. I do just think this is a big Doug Baldwin week. I think the best thing that could have happened for, I mean, this is ownership stuff, so this is obviously more towards DFS, but him being so underutilized last week, but playing, I believe it was up to 83% of the snaps. Like, I just think he's healthy. He's going to be on the field, and I really like this matchup for him.
All right. Dede or Crabtree? I go Crabtree.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston or Tom Brady? You got to play Brady against.
You got to play Brady against the Chiefs. Again,
Yeah.
it's the highest point total this season.
They're both good
Yeah, they're
starts.
just the guy with, like, same with the guy with Goff. It's a good problem to have, but yeah, just play Brady.
Okay. Snow in Denver. Be cautious. This
We've
guy
now
says.
got Tannehill up to doubtful.
Oh, so you got to take Tannehill out of the rankings. Where would you rank Brock Osweiler?
Worst place.
Worst. Just. I can do that. Worst place.
Oh God. I'm gonna start a poll on Twitter. Which is, do I even watch the Dolphins now?
Brock Lobster. He's getting put in. So Tannehill. I had Tannehill ranked 27th anyway. So this is an easy update. Probably out. Ran Tannehill. I mean, you couldn't even play Dolphins receivers with Tannehill. Is there like a guy that opens up here?
No.
No one?
Well, I mean, the playbook's not going to change. Funny enough, as Brock Osweiler has had mop-up duty so far this season, would you like to take a guess as to who caught the Brock Osweiler touchdown pass?
AJ Derby.
No. As weird, though, Frank Gore.
Oh, super.
Yeah.
That's just fantastic.
I mean, look, it's weird, but I would say that aside from Kenyon Drake, who we've talked about in the past, not someone I like playing this week, not something I would choose to play in an actual DFS lineup, but if you could be forced into a spot where you have to use him in a flex, he's got high ceiling. Frank Gore might be a flex. They might just run this football every first and second down they get. Like,
They do that anyway.
I will say if anyone trusted, there's only one person in the world who trusts Brock Osweiler, and it's Adam Gase. So maybe he's deluded enough to try to have him open this up. But no, nothing changes. You still just have a collection of receivers that, I mean, we don't even really know if Devontae Parker's going to play in this game yet. And but it just adds another mouth
Why
to feed,
aren't they
you know?
playing him?
I don't know.
They hate his
I
guts.
really don't know.
Just trade him.
They might.
Like,
They might.
If you're not going to play him, and it seems like he's been healthy for like 3 weeks.
They could
They're
definitely-
making up injuries for him at this point.
And that's the thing. I would say that where I hadn't been advising adding Devontae Parker in the past, or at least since like the second week of the season, despite the fact I still think he's the best receiver the Dolphins have, there now is the upside caveat of he might be traded. And there's a lot of places he could go that he would be much better suited because they picked up his option. So they're inclined to want to get rid of him because I don't think they want to pay another wide receiver $9 million a year.
This is true. Is Maurice Harris a lock this week? Wouldn't go that far.
That seems extreme.
Great way to save some value.
Sure.
Save some cap,
But
$3,000.
realistically, what are we thinking? 3 targets for Maurice Harris? And even that's...
Believe he had 5 in the Saints game.
Okay.
He was 3 for 47 and was used like they were taking shots with him down the field.
Okay, that's
So
fair.
if that's the case, like, Carolina's defense is not good.
At least the passing aspect of it,
It's perceived as very good. Thomas Davis is back though.
that helps.
Should help the pass rush a little bit, but I just feel like the Redskins in general just rebound a little bit this week. They were so bad on Monday night, and everyone saw it, and everyone's like, "Oh, Carolina's going to kill them." It's never how it works.
Yeah.
I can just see it being a high-scoring game.
I would just say, in essence, though, to rebound, you would have to have looked good on offense at some point this season. And aside from that first game against Arizona, they really haven't.
Alex Collins or Dalvin Cook? I would play Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, they're probably going to end up with the same amount of touches.
Kenyon Drake or Dalvin Cook? I would play Dalvin
Cook.
Half-point PPR flex. AP, I already answered that one. Tyler Boyd or TJ Yeldon? Probably play Yeldon.
Yeldon.
Both good plays, though. Pick 2. Already answered that one. Now, thanks. Please do not repeat the questions. That's really annoying. People are like, "Well, why do you read them?" Because I'm reading them live. Can't take. It's not a vetting process here. Would you play Ronald Jones or 49ers fullback Kyle Juszczyk? I play Ronald Jones.
Yeah. Look, I don't dislike Juszczyk, but I think Juszczyk, for the purposes of fantasy, is more of a guy who's going to be a very big staple play in showdown contests. Not so much someone you're playing in season-long leagues. Or I know he got 7 targets last week. That's fine, but
he's a floor play.
Yeah.
In a PPR league, if it's a standard league, you basically cannot play him.
Yeah.
If it's PPR, he has value for I don't know, 6 catches is lofty to just pencil in as a floor. Say
Sure.
4 for 32, so 7 points.
But we could be looking at a situation where, I mean, in this matchup specifically, Ronald Jones, I wouldn't even say it's unlikely he touches the ball more than 15 times in this game. I would lean on the side he does.
I mean, there's a chance that Peyton Barber starts. And
Sure.
It's a lot of Peyton Barber.
Again, that's on the table, but I would say if you made me put my allegiances somewhere, I would say under 20 touches for Ronald Jones, but more than 15.
Okay. Boyd or Josh Gordon? Boyd. Full point PPR, Callaway or Shady McCoy? Probably Shady. Just that's so much volume. I like Callaway, but that's a lot of volume for Shady.
And the volume we've seen Callaway get across the last 3 weeks, he has one of the worst fantasy points per opportunity.
Is
outputs in the
he
league.
the new Zay Jones?
It's pretty bad. He's one of the most inefficient receivers we've seen. So, and that lends itself to his route tree. He's a deep threat guy, but he has not been efficient.
No.
So just go with Shady.
Anytime you can just pick up 3 catches on 12 targets. So, always looking good. Big Ben or Deshaun Watson? I play Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun.
Mayo, you sound hungover. That is not true. I am not hungover. Wish I was hungover. Would have
I was hungover yesterday.
much more. I was hungover on Friday night as well. Adam Vinatieri or Boswell? You get your fucking kicker questions out of my fucking chat, pal. Standard scoring, because in PPR this would be way different. Andy Dalton, Big Ben, or Russell Wilson?
I think just Dalton for me.
It's Dalton or Wilson.
They've only thrown the ball 43% of the time the last 3 weeks. I like Baldwin, but when I say I like Baldwin, I preface that with you can only like one receiving option for Seattle every single week. I think Wilson has a fine game. I think he throws for 275 yards and 2 touchdowns. It's a good real life game. I just don't think he's got the ceiling in fantasy right now.
And Dalton's going up against his piss poor Steelers D at home. So I like it. And in a game where if Ben does play a little bit better, that they can continue to throw the entire time, which is always nice. Cooks, Shady, or Phillip Lindsay? I would play Cooks.
Yeah.
Howard with Bears D and DK Cash? I would not play Jordan Howard in a cash game.
No.
Just wouldn't. Big Ben or Watson?
Watson.
I want to play Gordon. Okay, if you want to play Gordon, just fucking play Gordon. I don't care who the fuck you play. It really does not concern me who you play in your lineup.
It might be more lucrative to start a channel where we honestly just reinforce the things that people want to do.
Well, it's funny, if people ever ask me Twitter questions, because there's no real upside to answering starter sit questions, because there are rankings out there.
No one's going to thank you if you're right.
Yeah, no one's going to thank you if you're right. You only get shit if you're wrong for it. But it's do I play this guy or this? Do I play player A or do I play player B? But I really like player B. I will 100% of the time
player A?
pick player B. No, just whatever whoever you think you should play, I will just tell you to play that guy.
That's fair.
The way you asking me, it's very clear you're going to play the guy that you want to play anyway.
They just want it reinforced too.
Jameis Winston or Tom Brady? Tom Brady, already answered that. Pat, got $100 on Roethlisberger to throw a INT. Thoughts?
That's a not terrible bet. I'd say that. I don't know what the odds of that bet are. Those seem important.
Yeah, that would be important.
But you might want to call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Yeah. Although we just bet over sacks in.
Yeah, but that made sense.
Over 5.5 is pretty
That's
decent.
Weird. That's a
Do you
weird
have any
line.
out of all the spreads that are up there today? Do you have any favorites? Because Arizona still is my favorite.
Let's see.
I like Arizona. I like the Chargers. That's back down to +1 now. Just changed. I like the Colts too. They're down to +2. That's another one that shifted from 3 down to 2.
I kind of like the Colts, especially with that swing point.
Well, I just like the over in that game. The over is
It's going to be a lot of plays.
47.5. Just over in every Colts game is hit, I think, so far this year.
Well, right now
except for that Eagles game.
Well, we've also got a situation where it's not just. I mean, we talk about empty volume and all that kind of stuff. This is volume, but this is also Andrew Luck setting career highs in attempts the last 2 weeks. They're not running the football. They're going to throw it a bunch, and that really does. Even if, regardless of the way this game goes, whatever script occurs, either Andrew Luck has gotten them up a bunch of points and he stops throwing, or they're behind and he has to throw even more. I like the under in that game a lot too.
Kiki or Fuller? I'd play Fuller.
Fuller.
But Watson is hurt. Is he for sure playing? Fuck off.
I would say so.
Bibbs, cash game viable on DK with no Thompson?
Cash game might be extreme. Although I will say, you're going to have to find someone to pair with Gurley. And Gurley is stupid expensive.
You could just not play Gurley in cash.
Nah, I'm playing Gurley in cash.
You can play Melvin Gordon. You can play You can play Joe Mixon and Melvin Gordon for the price that you could play like Todd Gurley and Austin Eckler. That's just way. If you're talking about cash games, that floor is way safer.
I guess you're right.
Like
I would
squeezing
just
Gurley
say,
into
like,
cash is tough. Not that I play cash games, but
Yeah.
I get the logic behind it. I used to play a lot of cash games until I started thinking like, what am I doing this? I'm putting a lot of effort in to win $10 a week. This is stupid. Let's see. Alex Collins or Deion Lewis? Deion Lewis? Rivers or Winston? It's probably Winston, right?
Yeah, I think it's Winston.
I really like Rivers, though. This one just says, Ito Smith, Freeman out.
These are both facts.
That is the entire...
That is a person.
But here it is. It's Ito Smith, question mark, Freeman out, exclamation point.
Wow.
I mean, we talked about Ito Smith right off the top of the show, so you can go back and rewind. Garion, have you ever considered contact lenses?
I have. I don't like sticking my finger in my eye. I can't do it. I can't. Yeah, I don't like that. Have you tried? You don't wear contacts, do you?
No. Good. You think Pat Mayo's vision is bad?
That's a good point. But they sit with you and they're like, oh, here's how you can get better at it. Just while you're watching TV, just sit there and stick your finger in your eye for like 5-10 minutes and get used to it. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna.
Oh, I should have touched my eye and makeup all over it. Oh, I'm gonna have another eye infection.
There you go.
It's gonna be bad. Michael or Evans in the flex? I would play Mike Evans.
Yeah.
Over Sonny Michel. Good options though. Burton or Njoku? I think I'd roll the dice on.
I like on Njoku there.
So do I.
I think there's a higher volume. Game.
But again, it's like all these Browns receivers are super inefficient.
Sure.
Even Jarvis Landry's become more inefficient this year.
It's gonna happen with a rookie quarterback.
I suppose. Can someone help me, please? You start. Olsen or Brait?
I would start Brait in that situation.
I would start Brait too. I can't trust Olsen coming back.
I don't know how. The only thing that Olsen's presence does for me is devalue Funchess even more. But that's it.
This guy says Jags and Bears are a lock to get defensive touchdowns this week. I'm going to point this out. That is not a lock.
I would also say that Dallas runs an offense that's not hyper conducive to allowing defensive touchdowns. They are 100% conservative, which is very Dallas. So good for them.
Like the Jags D is a good D and should shut down Dallas. But I don't know how many plays are going to be running that game. And
I don't know how many times they're even going to throw. Like it's going to be a lot of Zeke, and that's going to just churn the clock. Like they almost need to get a shutout in this game, I think, to reach value, because I don't know how many sacks they're going to get.
Or they get up by like 20 right away, and then Dak has to throw 45 times.
But I would honestly say the more likely defense in that game to score a defensive touchdown is Dallas's defense.
Agreed. I like Dallas's defense a little bit
Not
more.
that we have to this shouldn't be a segment predicting defensive touchdowns.
Yeah,
but
they don't. They're very unpredictable and definitely not a lock to happen. Pick two: Jordan Howard, Tevin Coleman, or Chris Carson.
Sorry, Jordan Howard, Chris Carson, and who?
Howard, Coleman, Carson. I'd play Howard and Coleman.
Yeah, I like Carson, but I think you've got two just not upper echelon backs, but they're a tier above.
Chester Rogers or Naheem Hines for the flex. I like Rogers.
22 targets the last two games.
Yeah, and no Ty.
Yeah, and the Jets get shredded across the middle.
And with Mac back, I don't know how much Naheem Hines is going to play.
Yeah,
I know.
I would
Jake
still
and I had
say
this,
Hines is. I still think
there's no way he plays over 50% of the snaps. Just not happening.
That's fair.
Start two: Amare, Josh Gordon, or Corey Davis. I'd start Amare and Davis.
You know what? I might actually play Josh Gordon ahead of Corey Davis.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's a really good spot.
Are we
the Tom Brady times?
Are we
hyping up Josh Gordon this week?
Are we concerned that he's probably not going to play 50% of the snaps?
No, I think you factor that in. I just think there's an upside there in this game, especially
that the Corey Davis matchup is just so bad.
It's a really bad matchup. Yeah.
Should I have Trubisky in at least one GPP?
No.
It depends. If you're playing 150, go for it.
Sure. There's a scenario, but again, this is of all the games as we've talked about. This is a very slow game. The pace of these teams, they'd like to slow the game down, and the Dolphins actually have a pretty viable secondary. That's the best part of their team.
Lindsey or Collins in the flex? I like Lindsey.
Yeah, Lindsey.
This guy just says, don't ever ask Gurley or blank again. That's actually a very good point.
Yeah,
Just play Todd Gurley. He was your number one pick.
probably, yeah.
Who should I start in as running back 2 in a standard league? Cook, Lindsey, Hines, or Morris? Probably play Cook. It's Cook or
Yeah.
Lindsey.
I would say I'd have Cook over Lindsey right now. Just because you're probably going to... If he plays 20 to 25 snaps, what are we predicting his touch count is? Because I'm still saying it's 15 to
15,
18. Yeah.
Against a bad run defense.
Sure.
Lindsey or Baldwin?
Baldwin.
Probably play Lindsey for me. Morris or Bilal Powell in a PPR? Guess I'd go with Powell, not knowing with Brady. If I knew Brady was out, I would play Morris for sure. But
Again, if Breda's out, we're probably looking at 20 touches for Alfred Morris. And he did even set a career high in targets. They don't seem to know that he can't catch. But I think I would still go against him. I just don't like the ceiling. I think he's such a floor play.
But we're not going to know, so that's
And that's the
that's
problem.
the
It's
decision
like-
you have to make. So
yeah.
the answer is Powell.
Yeah.
Do y'all think Breda will play?
No.
No, I don't think he will either. Sonny Michel is questionable. Do I switch him out for Evans or play Aaron Jones Monday if he can't go? If that's Mike Evans.
If
you
that's
just
Mike
fucking
Evans,
play
then
Mike
yes,
Evans.
play Mike Evans.
Why would you not play Mike Evans against Atlanta?
Well, you got to wait for the right matchup.
Yeah, you can't have one this good. That's not fair to your opponents.
Exactly.
Baldwin or Corey Davis?
Baldwin. Yeah.
Lindsey or Boyd in the flex? Boyd. Crowell, Baldwin, or Aaron Jones?
Baldwin.
Followed by Crowell. Then, I'm
I
off Aaron
like
Jones.
Aaron
I know you
Jones,
like
yeah.
Aaron Jones. Gurley or Jamal Charles? Trubisky is a bad... Okay, I don't need to have your fucking commentary, pal. I don't care. Cook or Watkins? Believe we already answered that.
Yeah.
And the answer is Watkins. Unless it's Dalvin Cook. I just assumed it was Jared Cook.
It's probably Dalvin Cook.
This is one of the problems when you,
Cook
do I
Cooks?
start Johnson or Johnson?
Yeah.
Let's fucking figure it out,
I would
people.
say let's work under the pretenses that it is Dalvin Cook. That
I'd
becomes a little bit more interesting.
I'd probably play Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, me too.
This guy says Baldwin has knee issue concern, but that's not true.
I mean, that's not new. No, I'm not concerned.
Full point PPR, Hooper or Jared Cook? I mean, again, I don't play Jared Cook, so the answer is Austin Hooper for me.
Yeah.
Flex 1, AP, Baldwin. I feel like we've answered this question 3 times. I don't know if it's the same guy putting it in, burner accounts putting it in. The name does look different. AP, Baldwin, Kiki, or Dion Lewis? I'm going with Peterson.
I'm going to say Baldwin.
Yeah. Chester Rogers or Naheem? I've already answered that one. I don't know. Looks like I have
Are you concerned about Russian bots taking over your comment section?
A little bit. I mean, it would be more... I would have better faith in humanity if half these people were Russian bots. To be perfectly honest with you.
That's fair.
Cortland Sutton or Tywan Taylor in a GPP?
Ooh. I think Sutton for me.
I think I'd just play neither. I'd play like Godwin around the same price.
I guess that's true.
Or I'd play Chester Rogers.
In DFS, you don't have to play them, so I just play Chester Rogers.
Yeah, or I could play Callaway, or I just pay down and play Maurice Harris.
I like Sutton, though. Not this week. I just like him in general.
Just like him in general. Dalvin Cook or Jordan Howard? Still playing Jordan. I'm still
Jordan
playing Dalvin Cook.
That's Jordan Howard for me.
They're next to each other.
That's
so
my
just
cutoff,
flip
yeah.
a coin. Need 3 out of these 5. Okay, Zeke and Beast Mode, Howard, Zeke, James White, and Yeldon PPR. It's the last 3. Zeke,
It's
White, and Yeldon.
Yeah. Yep.
Atlanta stack? Question mark.
Yeah.
You and the rest of the world, pal.
Yeah.
Fuller or Ridley PPR? We've already answered this one too. I'm going to start banning people from the chat. This is starting to trigger me.
We're going to run out of questions.
We're not going to run out because there's a ton of questions. That's the problem. The same 8 people are asking the same question over and over. We're going to fucking
They
get
just
to it.
care more, Pat.
I'm banning people here soon. Would you play Niles Paul this week? I am playing Niles Paul in the GPP. I have him in 2 Million Maker lineups.
Again, tight ends, it's a whole new set of rules. They're not new rules. Tight ends just exist in a world unto themselves.
Can
You
they
can
score a
pretty much play
touchdown?
anyone.
Yes, I think he could score a touchdown. And he's less than $3,000.
There you go.
In a week where you need savings. Luck or Dalton? 6-point touchdown passes. Probably play Dalton.
Yeah, I think it's Dalton.
Diggs or Juju? I'd play Juju.
Juju. Diggs has a real tough matchup.
It is. I have Juju in, I think, 70% of DK lineups.
Really?
Yeah, I played no Brown, just playing all Juju. Because everyone played all Juju last week, and Brown hit, and everyone's playing Brown and no Juju, so it's great. I have Sanu. Should I have Hooper as my tight end or be Jared Cook? I just play Hooper.
Yeah.
It's the highest scoring game.
I wouldn't worry about that too much, yeah.
Should I keep Robbie Anderson on my bench or switch him out for Callaway? I like Callaway.
I'd play Anderson over Callaway.
Robbie Anderson reeks. Who's a better running back play? Ito Smith, or as it's written down here, I do Smith, or Mike Davis? I'd play Ito. Judge Ito.
Yeah, it's Ito just because he's the goal line back.
Dalton or Cam? The answer is always Cam. Cam's the highest scoring quarterback.
Yeah, just go with Cam.
When
That's
Cam has
true.
his good week, he is the highest scoring guy. Even at his best game, Andy Dalton is never the highest scoring quarterback.
That's fair. Look, they're both top 10 guys. You're right. The upside is higher with Cam. It's always higher.
Pick 2. Baldwin, John Brown, or this guy's getting banned. Blocked. The 8th time that question's popped up. Should I trade Marvin Jones for Jordan Howard? Sure. Go for it. Allen Robinson, Doug Baldwin, or Jordan Howard?
Allen Robinson, Doug Baldwin.
That's probably Jordan
Howard. Yeah.
Just for the touchdown upside. Lindsey or Drake? Lindsey.
Yeah.
Dede, Kiki, Fuller, or Crabtree? Need 3. So who's the one who sits?
Dede.
Dede's the one who sits.
Yeah.
The Texans guys and Crabtree.
Oh, yeah. Dede sits.
Trey Burton or Greg Olson? Trey Burton.
Yep.
Diggs or Juju? Once again, that's a repeat question. You're on timeout. Antonio Callaway or Naheem Hines for a flex non-PPR? That's Callaway.
Yeah, Callaway in a non-PPR.
I think it's Callaway in PPR too.
I would play Hines in a PPR.
What? I just don't get this Hines thing. I'm Mr. Naheem Hines.
I just don't think his role is going to drop off that considerably.
Played 69% of snaps last week. He played 71% the week
I'm still
before.
saying 50 to 55%.
That's a huge hit because you're relying on him to have like 7 catches for 50 yards.
Yeah, but it's not like he was. I would say that.
You swatting at flies?
Yeah, swatting a fly. I would say that the role we see drop off, like he's not going to get double-digit carries like he got last week, but that's not what you're playing Hines for anyway. I think when he's in there, he'll be a viable pass
the less
guy.
time he's on the field,
Sure,
the
that
fewer
takes away
opportunities he's going to have to run routes out of the backfield and catch the
That's
ball.
fair, but I would still say 50 to 55% is a large share for a running back, especially in a timeshare.
Let's see. Yeah, any updates on?
I haven't seen anything aside from Tannehill recently. We've got Olsen warming up, but again, he was likely to play anyway. No, that's about it.
Yeah,
Probably not going to see anything new till 11:30, really.
Nice. Keep loading in the questions. We'll try to get to as many of these as possible. So please do not repeat on the questions. I'm scrolling down. I'll get to them. Would you play Howard or Chris Carson? I'd play Howard.
I'd play Howard too.
Okay. Cook or Howard?
Yeah, Howard.
That's going to be a decision a lot of people have. I'm playing Cook.
I just think there's a safety in Howard.
I don't
because
think
I said it. My mouth.
I
almost
don't
wouldn't
think
let
there's
me say it.
That's the reason I would play Cook. I don't think there's a safety.
I think this is a Howard game. So
Godwin or John Brown? John Brown.
John Brown.
See, this guy even said Chicago's going to eat up Miami. You and the rest of the world think that. We'll see what happens. I just think it's closer. They probably win, but it's close. Olsen or Howard? Howard. Oh, O.J. Howard or Greg Olsen? Play
I think
O.J.
it's still O.J. Howard.
I think I'd
I'm
play
not going to play Greg Olsen this week.
Standard, Deion Lewis, Naheem Hines, Chris Godwin, or Quincy Enunwa? That's down to Godwin and Lewis for me.
I think it's Lewis.
It's probably Lewis. Good game script for him, even in a bad matchup. Tyler Lockett or Josh Gordon?
Josh Gordon.
Probably play Josh Gordon there. Dalvin Cook, Deion Lewis, or Ronald Jones? I play Cook.
Yeah, it's still Cook.
Chris Hogan, Philip Dorsett, Valdez Scantling, or Ronald Jones? I'd cross off the Patriots guys.
My God.
And Valdez Scantling, we're not going to know.
Yeah, I would
he would be the play.
Yes, but just play Ronald Jones because he's in a. Really, with both, it's the same upside. It's there's an unknown factor, and they're both in good offenses. But just take the running back who we think is going to receive the lion's share of the carries.
Kiki or Fuller? Fuller.
Fuller, yeah.
Sony, Cohen, Lindsey, or Aaron Jones? I would just play Sony Michel.
Yeah, just play Michelle.
The word is that he's going to play. That's what Schefter reported a little bit earlier, so I just hold out for that.
If he's not active, I would say Lindsey after that.
Yeah, but you're not going to know that.
That's true.
But he also has Aaron Jones. You can just play Aaron Jones in the Monday Nighter.
Yeah, it's true.
If
Yeah,
Sony doesn't play.
That's true. That's a good point.
Pick 2. Cole, Enunwa, Ronald Jones. I go Cole and Jones.
Yeah, I agree.
Geronimo Allison or Royce Freeman? Got to play
just
Freeman,
gotta play
right?
Freeman, yeah.
Unless you have Valdez Scantling.
Which is possible.
We don't know if Allison's going to play or not.
Yeah.
And it's not till Monday night. So you
So
could
you
be
just can't.
fucked if you play him.
Yeah.
Should we say goodbye to the audio listeners?
Sure.
Continue on the YouTube channel. All right, so just remember, people, if you're listening to this on the iTunes feed, thank you for downloading and listening and getting your Sunday report in. Hope you enjoyed it. But that's going to do it for us here. We're going to continue on the video version. That goes till 11:30 a.m. If you have questions live, go do that. So peace out to the audio feed. Now, Remember, we're still here on the video feed for another like 35 minutes, so keep pounding your questions in. Please do not double up on the questions. It just takes away time from everyone's bottom line, and then it triggers me, and then I get mad and talk about it for 5 minutes, and those are fewer questions that I can actually answer. But please, do share the show around so people can tune in. Smash that like button. That's what keeps the show up, keeps the show free. Got to do that every single time. More questions, more rapid fire. Didi or Crabtree? Crabtree.
Crabtree.
Sony, White, Edelman to fill running back 1, 2, and flex, or pop in Allen Robinson, Hyde, Lynch to take away from full Pat stack. I would play Lynch and Hyde over Edelman.
Yeah.
I'd play Lynch over Hyde.
Yeah, if you don't have to slot someone at wide receiver, just go with the 3 running backs.
Yeah.
And I have Hyde over Lynch. You have Lynch over Hyde, but I think both are...
It's by a spot.
Yeah.
Could be anyone. John Brown, Lockett, or Enunwa. Pick 2. I'd go Lockett and Brown.
I think I would go in Enunwa and Brown.
I think I like the deep shot option with Lockett
That's
against
fair.
the Raiders.
He's operating at a level of efficiency that I feel like he's bad in general, but again, I think my personal philosophy on the Seahawks right now is you can pick one receiver you like, just because it's such a low volume, and I like Doug Baldwin this week.
Doug Baldwin. Roll the dice on Dalvin Cook or start Drake over him. I just roll the dice on Dalvin Cook.
That's not the level of running back that you can replace him with.
Boyle or Powell?
Powell.
Who's Boyle?
Nick Boyle.
Nick Boyle or Bilal Powell? That's the question?
I would have to be. I don't know any other Boyles.
I mean, I assumed it was a running back. Yeah, Bilal Powell. Start Cup in Denver with it snowing? Question mark?
Look.
No. Drop him. He might actually suffer hypothermia in Denver, and he might die.
That's
So
tough.
you should probably drop him now before that happens, so you can get someone to replace him right now.
I mean, again, he's probably got the worst matchup of the 3,
Yeah,
but it doesn't matter. The Rams are matchup proof.
He draws Chris Harris. I'm not concerned about if there was hey, do I start Mike Evans
Yeah,
over
sure.
Cooper Kupp? Then yeah, you don't need to play Cooper Kupp. But give me a fucking option here, pal, you moron. Jordan Howard or Alex Collins? Jordan Howard.
Jordan Howard.
Dalvin Cook or AP? I'd play Dalvin Cook. John Brown or Kiki?
John Brown.
John Brown for me as well. Help! Kenyon Drake, Rocket Richard, or Kyle Juszczyk?
Oh God. I think that's a situation where you just go with the upside of Drake.
Yeah, you play Drake. If it's PPR, I don't hate Jalen Richard.
I don't hate Juszczyk in that situation either, but I feel like Drake's probably the way you got to go.
One lineup in the Millie. Do you have exposure to Atlanta and Tampa Bay?
One lineup? Probably not.
not.
I'd
Yeah,
find
probably not.
I'd find something different.
Or just play a quarterback in a different game, and you can still have pieces. I'm not doing a big stack of that game. I've decided to, not that I think the game's not going to shoot out, but if it doesn't, then I'm in a great leverage situation because I didn't play a ton of lineups. But I still use Chris Godwin as a piece of that game. Mm-hmm. I just think that he's the one who's the low owned. He's also the cheapest piece of that game, which is really nice. I've used Ronald Jones in certain spots.
Yeah.
I use Mohamed Sanu in certain spots, and I use Ito Smith in certain spots, but it's not like a full game stack. And you don't need the full game stack if you don't want to. Is it time to start Hayden Hurst? I don't know what would lead you to that conclusion, but if you want to, go for it. But no.
No.
Who should I start, Brady or Matty Ice? Congrats on your marriage. Oh, thank you for congrats on my marriage. I've been married for
over a year.
Over a year, but sure. Thank you.
It's always nice.
I appreciate it. I love being congratulated on anything. Brady.
Yeah.
Brady and Mahomes are the top 2 plays of the week.
Yeah.
And Matt Ryan's third. So it's a nice situation to
Yeah,
be
it's a great spot to be in.
Here's what I wonder. Why would you own Matt Ryan and Tom Brady?
Yeah, really at this point, you need to be trading probably Matt Ryan, I would say. He might just have more value on Tom Brady.
Eckler or Hines? It's Eckler.
Eckler.
Eckler's almost a must start every week.
Eckler's basically an RB2.
I start him in standard every week, and he's still good.
Yeah.
As my flex, because we have me and I in League of Leagues. We're in first place. It's great.
Nice.
It's by far. I mean, if there's one league to be doing well in, the league that has the most money on the line is always the nice one to do well in.
Sure.
But we have Melvin Gordon and Fournette, which is ugh. But we picked up James Conner before the season started. Mm-hmm. So we're hoping that Le'Veon Bell coincides with Fournette coming back.
That seems to be.
But
when's their bye? It's week 8, right?
Yeah, week 7 is the bye for
Pittsburgh.
For Pittsburgh.
Jacksonville's week 8, isn't it?
It is, but Fournette could come back next week, they said.
Okay.
But I'm not really. We have Chris Carson on the bench as
That's
well,
fine, too.
So we can just plug and play him. But we've been starting Gordon and Eckler as a running back and a flex every week. So our wide receiver 3 is Kenny Stills. Gets real thin. It's not a big bench.
Yeah.
But who do we have at receiver? We have Kupp and Hopkins, so that helps. Morris or Powell? Powell.
Yeah.
Ryan or Cam? I'd lean Ryan in that one.
I would say Matt Ryan.
Ito Smith or Rocket Richard?
Ito.
I'd go Judge Ito there. Alex Collins, Sony Michel, or Jordan Howard? Okay, Alex Collins is not a part of that conversation whatsoever. It's Sony Michel.
Yeah, I think
It's Sony Michel.
he's going to play. Yeah.
Yeah, have a backup option in case, for whatever reason, he's a surprise inactive, but Sony Michel is the
I
clear.
mean, you could probably pick up Juszczyk at this point. So,
Yeah, some leagues don't work like that, though.
that's true.
It depends on what platform that you're playing on. If you play on Yahoo, you can just drop someone from your bench right away and go pick up Kenyon Barner if you wanted to.
That's fair. Yeah.
Snead or GB Brown?
Is that
Oh,
Equanimous?
yeah. I'd just play Willie Snead.
Yeah, just play Snead.
I didn't think Green Bay Brown. I just thought GB Brown.
Yeah,
Who the fuck is GB
I know.
Brown? Chester, Rogers, or Hines? Okay, this guy's going on timeout for asking the same question too many times. You know what? He's not even getting. I've put this in here. Banned.
Too many times.
Need 3. This guy's already asked this question. Banned. No, I don't want to undo that. Oh, good. It's funny because I scrolled to the bottom. He asked the same question again. The Colonel, Manny Sanders, or Doug Baldwin? I play Sanders.
Sanders. Yeah.
Ridley or Cooper? I play Ridley.
Cooper Kupp?
Cooper Cup. No, Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, versus Cooper Kupp.
No, wait, who did I? No, I think it's a Murray Cooper.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Ridley.
Brait or Njoku? I play Njoku.
I might. Yeah, you got to play Njoku.
Murray Cooper, Kenny Stills, or Chris Hogan? It's probably a Murray Cooper.
It's Cooper there.
As much as it's not fun playing a Murray Cooper, that's a Murray
Could be the
Cooper.
week, though.
Aaron Jones, Adrian Peterson, or LaShawn McCoy? Play Peterson. Shady's close, though.
I think I would play McCoy.
It's not Aaron Jones, I don't
No,
think.
not there.
Edelman, Ridley, or Boyd in half point? I play Boyd. Freeman or Aaron Jones? I play Aaron Jones.
Yes.
Dalvin Cook, Baldwin, or Watkins? Pick 2.
I would
Cook
go
and
first
Baldwin.
two. Cook and Baldwin.
Calvin Ridley or Julian Edelman in standard? Ridley.
In standard, Ridley, yeah.
Scuba Dave or Gumby? But Gumby is spelled wrong. So Gumby. Maybe that's like James Gumby. She's a great big fat person. Gumby would be the perfect murder victim for Buffalo Bill because his skin already stretches.
It's true.
Boom. Problem solved. Half point PPR, Allen Robinson, Corey Davis, or Naheem Hines. I would play Allen Robinson.
I don't really like Robinson this week, but yeah, it's him.
Defense questions. Colts D, Cowboys D, or Seahawks D, or Panthers D. I like Colts D the best.
Yeah.
I just like Colts D in general.
Really high sack rate.
High sack rate, and against Sam Darnold, who, as it turns out, not great under pressure. Folds under the pressure.
You take that back.
Ito Smith or Phillip Lindsay? Phillip Lindsay.
Philip Lindsay.
Ito Smith is more of a, hey, I got no one else. Here's a
Yeah.
guy who's available. I can go play.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys. Trade Saquon for DeAndre Hopkins, Dalvin Cook, and Alshon Jeffrey? Yes.
Yeah. That seems pretty great.
Yeah. Howard or Hyde? Hyde.
I would say Howard over Hyde.
Funchess or Keelan Cole? I would actually play Keelan Cole.
Yeah,
Now that
me
Olsen's
too.
back, I've bumped Funchess down the ranks.
He's like he's averaged wide receiver 47 when Olsen is active.
Farzine Kara says he's in a 2 tight end league, which sounds just brutal.
Why?
I don't know. Why would you do that?
That seems-
Why do you do that to yourself? I have Hooper, Burton, and Uzuma. That's actually not terrible. I play Hooper and Burton, but all 3 are viable.
Yeah.
Melvin Gordon or Joe Mixon? I would play Melvin Gordon.
Yeah.
The answer is like kind of Melvin Gordon's sneakily
always
like
play
a
Melvin
top
Gordon.
3 running back.
Mixon's
like top
He's Todd
7.
Gurley light, really.
Yeah, he's Todd Gurley with 20% fewer snaps.
Yeah.
Because Gurley plays all of the snaps and Gordon plays 70%.
Crazy.
Roll the dice with Bears D hosting New England next week? Sure.
If you can pick up Bears D in your season-long league right now, pick up Bears D.
Play them against Miami.
Figure it out next week. It's fine.
Calvin Ridley or Josh Gordon? Ridley.
Yeah, Ridley.
You really don't like Calvin Ridley.
I like Ridley.
You really do. Or you really like Josh Gordon.
I do like Josh Gordon, but I would say that they're essentially the same person this week, and Ridley's going to play more snaps. So yeah, Ridley.
Kiki or Deshaun Jackson? I'd probably play Kiki. I
play
play Deshaun.
Deshaun,
I play
yeah.
Deshaun. David Johnson or Ronald Jones?
Ugh. You probably
it's
have
David-
to
the
play
answer is David Johnson.
It's a bad spot for David Johnson.
Whatever. He might get 8 catches.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like he's the checkout type of quarterback.
It doesn't seem like we know what could happen for the potential of David Johnson's receiving output, despite the fact that he's going to get 20 touches and get all the goal line carries. With Ronald Jones, we legit don't know what he's going to do.
I'm not
and
saying
he might be awful.
I'm not saying it's not definitely David Johnson. I'm just saying that's a not great problem to have.
Sanders or Cup? I play the Colonel.
I would play Cup.
Okay. White or Michelle in Standard? Probably Sony.
Yeah, then it's Sony.
They're still really good plays. Eckler, Miller, Cook, or Baldwin?
Wow.
Cook. It's Cook or Eckler for me.
I think it's Eckler for me.
If it's PPR, it could be Eckler. If it's Standard, it's Cook.
Yeah.
Ronald Jones the third, this says, or this could be someone else. Is there a Jones the third I'm not thinking of?
No, that's him.
Okay, but he's actually the second, I believe. Or Duke Johnson. I'd play Ronald Jones.
Yeah, Ronald Jones.
Tevin Coleman or Ackler?
It's probably Tevin Coleman.
I mean, Ackler's not a real person, so
That
I
helps.
play Tevin Coleman. Latavius Murray or Chris Hogan? Whew.
Probably just
You know
Chris
what?
Hogan.
I'd just play Hogan and pray that it goes back to him here.
There's just a ceiling aspect with one of those two guys.
Top scoring game on the slate, not Cincinnati. It might be Colts-Jets. Or
I would still say it's just going to be Atlanta-Tampa, but I like that as a variance play.
Oh, sorry. I for whatever reason, I assumed when he said that not in Cincy, I figured not in Atlanta because Cincy's not a super high total game anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the answer is Falcons, Bucks. Yeah, like by a lot. Looking at these, where I'm going to update the odds here. I like the over in that Tennessee-Baltimore game. I think Baltimore's a sneaky, fast-paced team who throws the ball a lot.
It's true.
And there are enough big play guys on Tennessee. Plus, you can factor in that Joe Flacco's going to throw the ball 45 times. That could be 7 going the other way. But right now, the over-under in that game is 43. Just seems low.
It's pretty low.
Like,
I get it. I mean, we're coming off games where both these offenses showcase just how terrible they can be.
yes, I agree. But I feel like that's been baked into the over-under.
Oh, sure.
Edelman or John Brown? Standard. Brown. Zeke and Yeldon or Gordon and McCaffrey? Is that Melvin Gordon? Because I would play Melvin Gordon and Christian McCaffrey in that situation. If it was like Josh Gordon, I'd probably play Zeke and Yeldon.
I think with the way the prices would work down, that'd be Melvin.
Then yes, Melvin. I mean, I don't understand how that makes any sense. You have 2 cheaper guys versus 2 more expensive guys than the other 2. That doesn't make any sense.
Maybe it is Josh Gordon then.
But Josh Gordon's not on the slate.
Yeah, I don't.
Stupid question. Figure it out. Alex Collins or Crowell? Crowell. Jarvis Landry or Cooper Kupp? Play
That's
Jarvis.
yeah.
Ridley or Cooper? I believe we
Ridley
answered
over
that one.
Amari
Banned.
Cooper, yeah.
This guy also is asking the same thing. Another question. Banned. Hines, Freeman, or Aaron Jones? I play Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
Alex Collins or Chester Rogers in Standard?
In
I think you could still play Chester Rogers.
I think it's still Chester Rogers, yeah.
Dalvin Cook. This guy says, thanks. I hope you're right.
So do I.
Me too. Eckler or Dalvin Cook? Dalvin Cook. You said Eckler, though.
I said Eckler.
Have to play 2 of the 3. Moncrief, Ryan Grant, or Brait? Moncrief and...
Look, Grant's still getting like 7 to 9 targets a
I'd still
game.
rather play Brait. He might
think
score a
so?
touchdown.
That's fair.
Grant's not. Winston or Cam? Cam. By a hair. It's still Jameis Winston. Let's
They're
remember
both
that.
top 7 or 8 quarterbacks this week, though. Like,
Josh Gordon, Amari, or Corey Davis start 2. I'm going Amari and Corey Davis.
I would go Amari and Josh Gordon.
Lamar Miller or Tariq Cohen? Probably play Cohen.
Cohen.
He might break a big one.
Yeah. I mean, I think Alfred Blue is going to be involved in this game.
As do I. Sit 1. Ridley, Fuller, or Baldwin? Probably sit Baldwin.
I think I would sit Fuller.
You don't like Fuller?
I'm okay with Fuller, but I like Baldwin more.
Okay. Eckler. This guy already asked this question, so banned. Let's see, this is filtering it out pretty easy. Crowell or Ito? I have them back to back in the rankings.
I think it's Crowell.
I think it's Crowell as well, but
for as much as I'm like 80% sure he's the goal line back in Atlanta, I'm 100% sure Crowell's the goal line back in New York.
Mike Davis or Aaron Jones?
Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones for me. Sanders, Fuller, or Baldwin? I play Sanders. Ravens D or Bears D? Bears D.
Bears D.
Bears D is the number 1 D this week.
Yep.
It's got to be. Should I trade Sony Michel or James White? Should I trade for Sony Michel or James White? That is a fucking terrible question. For who you have to give up. If you have to give up Todd Gurley, I'd say,
Yeah, I was gonna say,
don't do it.
That guy should trade for Todd Gurley. That's my advice in that scenario.
Trade either one of them for Todd Gurley.
Yep.
Potentially Melvin Gordon, maybe Antonio Brown. See if you can get him.
I like it all.
Are you scared of the snow in Denver? No.
No.
Sony Michel or James White? James White.
In this wide open scenario, yeah, James White.
Can you trust the Dolphins' defense? I don't think so.
No.
I don't think you can.
Yeah, they're not going to be set up in a lot of great spots.
Would you play Melvin Gordon and Eckler in the same lineup? Yes, I would.
Yeah, that's fine.
I've been doing it. Josh Gordon, John Brown, or Baldwin? Brown.
Brown.
We're coming out as a lot of Brown here.
Like John Brown.
Burton or Njoku?
I think we answered this one. Oh, no. We didn't. I would say Burton.
Jared Cook or Kittle me Timbers?
Kittle.
Kittle for me. He's iffy, but it looks like he's going to play.
He's been trending in the right direction.
Michelle or David Johnson? I play Sony Michel.
Yeah.
Hyde, Howard, or Jones? I play Hyde.
Yep.
Funchess, Hines, or Mike Davis? Ooh. Funchess?
I think I would just play Hines there.
I feel like Hines is last on that list.
Okay.
Davis could be controlling the goal line work in Seattle. So then he actually has touchdown.
Carson had goal line touches last week.
Half point. Shady or Allen Robinson? Play Shady.
Yep, I agree.
Sanders or Cup?
Sanders.
Eckler, James White, or Edelman? James White.
Yep.
Rams, Panthers, or Ravens D? Ravens D.
Yep.
I think the Broncos are going to try to run the ball a lot. And the pass rush for the Rams has not been good. And their defense hasn't been good.
It hasn't.
Powell or Aaron Jones? I like Bilal Powell.
Yeah.
Adrian Peterson,
Yep.
Lamar Miller, or John Brown?
John Brown.
John Brown for me. It's snowing hard in Denver, FYI. Thanks. Didn't know. I don't have the internet. Didn't know that. Thanks. Sanu. Now, if it gets the only time that snow would ever come into play is if you tune into the pregame and it looks like that Bills Colts game from last year.
Yeah.
That'd be it. If there's like a little bit of snow, doesn't really concern me. Makes me actually like Gurley a little bit.
The Dolphins have complimented Brock Osweiler for his snap count etiquette and huddle etiquette since his arrival.
What a hero.
Great news.
What a hero. Sanu, Kiki, or Chester Rogers and DK?
I think it's just Chester Rogers.
Sanu is probably the best play, but he's chalky.
He's a little banged up, too.
But he's like going to be like 16% owned. I think you would just fade the ownership and go with Rogers.
Yeah.
Cole Beasley today? Question mark.
Never.
Kicker question. Banned. Joe Mixon or Juju for the flex? Ooh, Mixon's safer,
I think it's Mixon, yeah.
but they're both really good.
That's what we're looking at, by the way.
That seems fine.
Yeah.
They're going to clear the field as long as it's not like, as long as that doesn't triple by the time kickoff happens.
She's alive.
Yeah.
We're okay.
It doesn't appear to be snowing in the background. It just seems like snow has dropped.
Yeah.
What is that, 2 inches of snow?
Not that much, yeah.
We're not at a foot yet?
Does not appear to be.
All right, so good news. Oh no, the chat has frozen on me. That's not good. Oh, yeah, I'll go to the bottom here. Chester Rogers or John Brown?
It's Brown. I like Rogers, but it's Brown.
Jets D or Colts D? I like Colts D.
Colts D.
Titans D or Colts D? I like Colts D.
Yeah, still Colts D.
Bortles, Dalton, or Mariota? I like Dalton.
Yeah, Dalton.
Crowell, Dalvin Cook, or Marlon Mack?
Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook. Diggs or Ridley? I'd still go Diggs.
It's still Diggs, yeah.
That's tough, though.
I'm avoiding Diggs in DFS, but in a season-long league, you're still just playing Diggs.
Mike David or Cameron Brate? Again, if you list someone who's not a real person, I'm going to pick the other guy, Cameron Brate.
I'll say Mike Davis.
That's not the option, though. It's Mike David.
You know what? Then Cameron Brate.
There you go. Baldwin, Edelman, Davis, or Deshaun Jackson
I would say Baldwin.
in standard? I would roll the dice on Deshaun.
Yeah, in a standard, I think you would go to Sean.
Trust Vikings D? Question mark? For against who? I have rankings. You can look at those. They're in the description.
Yeah, I mean, they're in a season-long format. Sure, they're a fine defense.
They're not, though. They're not a good defense. Their defense has not been good.
It's fair. I just think the Cardinals aren't. Like, I'm with you. I like Cardinals plus 10, but I think this is a low-scoring game.
Sure, we can have the Minnesota defense this week in a vacuum can be very good, but why are you still owning Minnesota's defense?
People are lazy.
Yeah. Eckler or Aaron Jones? Eckler.
Eckler.
Kittle or Jared Cooks?
Kittle.
Not a real guy. George Kittle. Unless there's too many Cooks. Okay, start one. Barber, Drake, Ronald Jones, or Ito Smith?
I think it's Jones.
It's Jones or Smith? Just to get exposure to that game.
Where both are high-end RB3s at best.
Go with Jones?
Just go with the higher ceiling.
All right, Jones. Derrick Henry or Chris Hogan?
Oh. It's probably just Hogan.
Yeah, just play Hogan.
Just hope for a touchdown.
Yeah, pray for a touchdown.
That's what you're doing with both, really. So
Start Jimmy Graham or Trey Burton? Probably Jimmy.
Jimmy.
They're so banged up, and he seems to be healthy.
Yeah.
Demarius Thomas or Doug Baldwin? I'd go Doug Baldwin.
Baldwin.
Doug Baldwin or Naheem Hines in standard?
Baldwin.
Mike Davis or Alfred Morris? I'd hold out for Alfred Morris.
In that situation, yeah.
Chester Rogers, Corey Davis, or Taylor Gabriel? I'd play Davis.
Yeah, that's Davis.
Melvin Gordon / John Brown or Hopkins and Zeke? I think I'd just play Zeke and Hopkins.
Yeah, I'd just play Zeke and Hopkins.
I mean, I'm afraid of Tre'Davious White, but he's still
not enough for me
DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
Dalton or Watson? Watson. For me.
I would say Dalton.
Okay. Callaway against the Raiders D2 day? Question mark. He is playing the Raiders.
He's playing the Raiders.
No, he's not playing the Raiders. He's playing the Chargers.
Yeah. Wait. Wow.
So that's just a weird question to begin with. Games to stack? Question mark. I would just sort by over-unders of the games. It's very clearly going to be Falcons-Bucks. That's the stack everyone's going to. If you want to get off that, I think a sneaky stack is potentially Ravens offense, or I think that Jets-Colts game does hit the over, so I like that one.
I also like, you brought this up a little bit earlier, I kind of like going and attacking that Rams game without Todd Gurley.
I mean, you just showed me the snow on the ground. People are not going to play anyone in that game.
Yeah.
If they get the field cleared and it doesn't, like... And I just looked at the wind. It's not going to be windy whatsoever, which is great. That snow can benefit the offense. It really can, as long as there's not too much of it. It doesn't, at this point, appear
Doesn't
to
seem
me.
like it's that much, yeah.
Rudolph or Njoku? I played Njoku.
I would play Rudolph.
Okay. Kittle me Timbers or Eric Ebron? It's Eric Ebron.
Ebron
with no Doyle? Light him up. Lindsey or Tevin Coleman?
Coleman.
Njoku or Ebron?
Ebron.
Kiki, D-Jax, or Chester Rogers?
I think it's D-Jax.
I would play D-Jax as well. Bills D or Arizona D? I'd play Arizona D.
Yep.
Gordon, Kiki, or AP? Play AP.
I'd play Josh Gordon.
Really? I think I might play Kiki over Josh Gordon.
No, I'd play Josh Gordon.
Really like Josh Gordon. This 55-year-old waiter got his ass kicked last night. Nothing better than your show to take away my worries. Thank you and peace, Howard. Feel better, Howard. It's not fun getting your ass kicked. It's happened to me a lot. It's next morning, never real fun.
No.
You got like a frozen thing of peas on your eye. It sucks. Chester Rogers or Kiki da Sneak?
I think it's Chester Rogers.
I would play Kiki. Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat? I like Mortal Kombat.
I always play Mortal Kombat, yeah.
Eric Swoop or Niles Paul?
It's Paul.
I would play Niles Paul.
Do I think there's a scenario where Swoop catches a touchdown today? Not off the table.
Sure.
But, yeah, Paul.
Cam or Russell Wilson? Cam. Standard pick 2. John Brown, unless that's Jaron Brown. I'm going to assume it's John
Probably
Brown.
John.
Stephen Diggs, Brendan Cooks, and Doug Baldwin. I would play Cooks and Brown.
You'd really play Brown over Diggs, huh?
Yeah.
I would still just play Diggs and Cooks.
Okay. Hopkins or Evans? I play Evans.
I agree.
Cooks or Robert Woods? I would play Woods. I have Woods ranked the highest of the Rams.
I was going to say, they're
healthiest.
Basically indiscernible, but yeah, go with the healthiest one.
Juju or Edelman? Juju.
Juju.
Should I trade Mixon and Johnson? Again, no letter before that name.
Probably
So
David.
I think it's Bethel Johnson.
Fair.
For White, you want to trade for Mark Ingram? Pfft, get the fuck out of my chat. Hide user. Never allowed to ask another question. Aaron Jones, Geronimo Allison, Eckler, or Royce in PPR? Eckler.
Yeah.
The Geronimo Allison thing is unknowable until
just...
we know whether he's in or out. Chester Rogers or John Brown? John Brown. Everyone owns John Brown, apparently. Good thing to have, because John Brown's been great. I have a lot of John Brown myself. Should I trade Rupp for Colton Tate? I assume that's someone saying Cooper Kupp in a Scooby-Doo voice. Cooper Rupp! No, I would keep Cooper Rupp in that situation. Tyler Boyd or John Brown? That's very close.
That's a close one. I would say Boyd.
Yeah, I'm going to go Brown. But that's coin flip. Amari or Allen Robinson? Play Amari.
It's really over Allen Robinson. Yeah. I would say Allen Robinson, but I don't really like either.
Kiki or Chester Rogers?
I think we answered that. I would say Chester Rogers.
Half point. Edelman, Lynch, Lockett, John Brown, Peterson. I play Lynch. Oh, we need a receiver and a flex. John Brown and Lynch.
Yeah.
Jacksonville defense or Texans defense? I'd actually play the
Texans
Texans
defense.
defense.
Yep.
Just more opportunity to score.
I mean, Buffalo is the worst adjusted sack rate of any offensive line in football. So.
And I know anytime that you know the defensive line players on a defense, they usually have a good pass rush. Just
That's not a bad way to look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just for like your average person. If you can name 2 defensive linemen on a team, generally speaking, that their pass rush is good, except for the Rams with Sue and Donald, whose pass rush is not good.
Yeah.
Somehow, because I think they.
Well, it's all internal pressure.
Oh, I think they
guess.
only rush Aaron Donald. I think that's it. I think it's a one-man rush.
They don't really have They don't have an edge rusher.
No, Powell, Eckler, or Carson. Eckler for PPR.
Powell, Eckler, Carson. It's Eckler. Carson's close for me though.
Crowell is playing today.
This is true.
Thank you. Powell still in play? Yes. I think he's a better play than Crowell. Pick 3, full point PPR. John Brown, Calvin Ridley, Tyler Boyd, or Josh Gordon. I would play the first three.
Yeah.
Ito Smith or Cole Beasley? Ito Smith.
Ito Smith.
PPR flex. This guy just asked this question. Banned. Aaron Jones or Austin Eckler? Full point PPR? Eckler. Aaron Jones or Philip Lindsay?
That's a good one.
I would play Lindsay.
I would also play Lindsay, but that's tight.
John Brown or Sanders? I think I'd stick with Sanders.
Sanders.
Baldwin or Powell?
Baldwin.
Lindsay or Deshaun Jackson or Will Fuller? I would play Will Fuller.
I might just play Deshaun there.
Okay. Woods or Cup? Woods. Deshaun Watson or Jameis Winston? That, you could probably go Jameis. That's real fringy, though.
Yeah, it's Jameis.
Brait or Hooper? I would play Hooper. Would you start John Brown, Doug Baldwin, or Demaryius Thomas? John Brown. Bears D and Kiki or Cardinals D and Djax? Could you just play Bears D and Godwin? You could, because it's for DK. You could just do that. That's what I would do.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I've been doing. Although I like both those defenses. Kiki or Chester Rogers? Like I said, I still like
Chester
Kiki.
Rogers for me.
Callaway or Lockett?
Ooh.
I like
that one's.
I like Callaway.
I was gonna say that one's Lockett for me, but I just
We'll
don't.
see who's right.
I just don't love Callaway.
Goff or Luck or Dalton?
Dalton.
I like Dalton. Fuller or Kiki? I like Fuller. This guy wants to know the top 3 brands of frozen peas. That's more of a Tim question. Because Tim would have hot takes on that. You know it.
God, what a sad life to know more than one brand of frozen peas.
You want to hear something even sadder than that? Andrew asked, Kenny Stills or Frank Gore in the flex? Can you not pick up Ito Smith? Can you not pick up Capri Bibbs and play him in the flex instead?
Yeah. I mean, between those 2 options, I would probably say Frank Gore.
I'd probably just play Stills and hope he connects. That's horrible.
The crazy thing is, I'm not even sure who the Dolphins' goal line back is because they just don't get inside the red zone.
Chester Rogers or Kiki? I feel like that's a very common question.
Yeah,
These are all different people asking this one.
I like Rogers in that situation.
I like Kiki. Boyd or Diggs? Boyd.
Boyd or Diggs?
That's so close. Give me just the better matchup.
Yeah, let's go Boyd.
Pick one. Lindsey, Cohen, Jones, John Brown, or Doug Baldwin. I play John Brown.
Yep.
Westbrook, Sanu, or Kiki. I would play Sanu.
Yeah, just take the better game script.
Gordon and Evans or Thielen and Connor. I would play Gordon and Evans.
Yes.
Melvin Gordon, I hope.
Melvin Gordon, yes.
Baldwin or Allen Robinson. I'd slightly lean Allen Robinson.
I would go Baldwin there.
Okay. Watkins, Demaryius Thomas, Aaron Jones, Chris Godwin, Allen Robinson, Austin Eckler. Pick 2. PPR. Eckler and...
Watkins, probably?
Yeah. Or no, Allen Robinson and Eckler.
I would go Eckler and Watkins.
If you want to get real sneaky, play Watkins and Godwin and hope they both score 70-yard touchdowns. Should I gamble on Brait or stick with Jared Cook? Banned. Jared Cook questions.
I would say in that situation. In a season long, go with Jared Cook.
Never Jared Cook. Should I trade Juju for Joe Mixon? I guess that depends on whether you need receivers or running backs.
Yeah, I mean, both are perfectly viable plays at their position.
It's a fair trade on both ends, is all I'll say. Depends on what you need. Luck or Goff?
Probably Luck for me. I just think there's a little bit safer today.
Cobb or Cup? Well, one of them's probably not going to play.
Yeah, one of them might not play.
So I'll go with
And
Cooper
also,
Kupp.
one of them's just better.
Yeah.
So
Powell, Dalvin Cook, or Alfred Morris? I would play Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin, yeah.
Buck Allen or Deion Lewis? I play Deion Lewis.
Deion.
Cards D or Jets D? Cards D.
I agree.
PPR, Naheem Hines or Josh Gordon? Your 2 favorite plays of the week. So that's
Josh
tough for
Gordon.
you. I would play Josh Gordon as well. John Brown or Edelman, full point PPR.
Ooh.
I play John Brown.
I think it's still John Brown, yeah.
That's very close, though. White or Coleman? In standard, I would play Coleman. In PPR, I play James White.
Yeah, it's White.
Bilal Powell or Doug Baldwin, PPR?
Baldwin.
Yeah, I'll go with Doug Baldwin. Should I take Kareem Hunt for Julio Jones? Yeah, that depends on whether you need running backs. In this situation, it sounds like you need a running back.
Yeah, it's not.
Then yes.
It's not unfair. I would rather have Julio in a vacuum, but if you need running back help, sure.
Funchess or Lockett? I like Lockett. Lockett or Callaway? Callaway.
Lockett.
John Brown or Kiki? Brown.
Brown.
Uzama or Niles Paul? Uzama. Enunwa or Moncrief? Moncrief. I like Moncrief.
I would go Quincy though.
I like Moncrief this week. He scores
fair.
long touchdowns.
He does.
Cup or Sanders? I would play Sanders. Trade Hyde. The trade question should really be left for Monday's show. Titans D, rest of year? Question mark.
They probably will play.
There is no defense that you should, even the Bears defense. There's no defense you should just have for the year.
Actually, one sec, breaking.
Oh, breaking? We got breaking news with 4 minutes left in the show?
No, let's see. Titans bye week.
We have 4 minutes left. Are we really
Fine.
looking this up?
I was just going to make a joke, but go
I
ahead.
thought you had real breaking
No.
news. Oh. Is Powell still fine with Crowell playing? Sure.
Yeah.
Pick one, Jamal Williams, Latavius Murray, or Peyton Barber. Probably Jamal Williams.
Jesus.
Go,
Yeah,
I said,
it's
go
Jamal
pick up Capri.
Williams.
I would play Capri Bibbs
Yeah,
over
over all
those
three of those guys, yeah.
Just go pick them up. Naheem Hines or Corey Davis? Davis.
Davis.
Winston or Luck?
Winston.
Winston for me. Matt Ryan or Winston? Matt Ryan.
Yep.
Kiki or Grant? Kiki.
Yes.
Sanu or Hyde? DK flex. I would actually play Hyde if you're playing tournaments. No one's playing.
I agree.
Naheem Hines or Aaron Jones?
Aaron Jones.
Jones for me. Deshaun Watson or Winston? I decided on Winston with that one.
I like Watson in that one.
Buck Allen or Quincy?
Quincy.
That's close. Half point. Need to play two. Dalvin, Lamar, Allen Robinson, Taylor Gabriel, Ito Smith, Shady McCoy.
I think it's Shady and Dalvin.
Shady and Dalvin for me as well. Green Bay D or Ravens D? Green Bay D.
I'd go Ravens too.
Josh Gordon or Crowell? I play Crowell.
I'd play Gordon there.
Jameis or Big Ben?
That's Jameis.
Jameis for me. Allen Robinson or Amari Cooper? Allen Robinson.
I'd go Amari.
Panthers or Miami D?
Ugh. Panthers.
I play Panthers as well. Greg Olsen or Uzama? I play Uzama.
Uzama.
Alfred Morris, Peterson, or LaShawn McCoy?
McCoy.
AP for me. Boyd, Howard, or Edelman? I play Boyd.
Yes.
Lynch and Brown, or Watkins and Gordon? I play Lynch and Brown.
Yep.
Philip Lindsay or Alfred Morris? Lindsay.
Lindsay.
This guy's a rest of the year kicker question. Fuck off. Sanu, Allen Robinson, or QT in standard?
Allen Robinson.
I think I just rolled the dice on Sanu.
I'll go Allen Robinson there.
David Johnson or Lynch? Lynch.
Lynch.
Yeldon or Michelle? Yeldon.
Yes.
Standard. Deshaun Jackson or Mike Davis? Deshaun.
Yeah, it's Deshaun.
AP or Jordan Howard in standard?
Jordan Howard.
I'd go Jordan Howard. Cooper or Jamal Williams? I don't know what Cooper that is, but
Probably
the answer is Cooper.
Amari? Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter. Sure.
Cooper.
Yeah.
Watkins or Alex Collins?
Watkins.
Watkins for me. Pick two. Buck Allen, Fuller, or Kiki? I play the Houston receivers.
Yeah.
Stills or Kiki?
Kiki.
Pick two. Watkins, DT, Amari Cooper, or Alfred Morris? I would play
Watkins and Cooper.
Watkins and Cooper for me too. Sony Michelle or Brandon Cooks as your flex? Michelle. Ronald Jones or Royce Freeman?
Ronald Jones.
You literally said Robinson over Cooper when you said the opposite. Yeah, it was the same guy asking the question. Whenever we have the same guy asking the same question, I've decided just to answer the opposite. Mike Williams, Fuller, or Hogan? Fuller.
Yes.
Uzama or David Moore? I play Uzama. Taylor Boyd or LaShawn McCoy? Again,
Boyd.
when you have a guy who's not a real person, play LaShawn McCoy.
Fair. Boyd.
Winston or Dalton?
Dalton.
Winston for me. Fuller, Cutie. Everyone has that question. I play Will Fuller. Brown or Watkins? John Brown. John Brown. Diggs or Hopkins with Hurt Watson? I play Hopkins.
Yep.
Bilal Powell or Shady? Shady. Alex Collins or Crowell? Crowell or Aaron Jones? I would play Crowell.
I play Aaron Jones.
Pick one. Sanu, Allen Robinson, or Kiki? Sanu.
I just play Allen Robinson.
I mean, he's probably safer. Ronald Jones or Alex Collins? Ronald Jones. Pat does realize Sony Michelle is game time decision, right? but it was reported that
You know,
Sonny Michel was probably going to play.
We've only mentioned it like 7 or 8 times.
I
on the
know,
show,
that's
so-
tough. The slate is starting right now. Last question. Alex Collins or Ronald Jones? I believe that kind of says it. Banned.
Ronald Jones.
Ronald Jones. Kittle or Trey Burton?
Kittle.
Kittle?
Kittle.
Kittle?
Kittle.
Kittle for me as well. Garion Thorne, follow him on Twitter at Garion Thorne. You can check us out on The Sweat with our top plays of the day coming up around 11:50. So go tune in to that now on the Facebook feed and the YouTube feed. It's already live, so go check it out. I'm going to get out of here. We're going to get set up for that. I'm Pat Mayo. You can download the podcast or watch this on demand. All the rankings will be updated within 20 minutes. So good luck in Week 6. I'm Pat Mayo. I'll see you next time.